Hello, I'm Utai Chempadet. Today is another day to talk about the duties of drivers for those who will apply for a license to act as a driver. The topic we will discuss today is the responsibilities of drivers. Normally, we would understand that the responsibility of the driver is great, because if something happens, it will have an impact on many parties, whether it is life, whether it is property. That is, if something happens, it's not just that person's business, but it will be included in many things: people, cars on the road, roads, and property. Whether it's a tree, a lamppost, or a person's house. Various assets, there will also be damage, and what needs to be emphasized the most is the car. The car that the driver was driving was also damaged. Life may mean the life of the driver himself, as well as the life of the service user, and so on to others. That was also in that event. Therefore, regarding the responsibilities of the driver, it is very important that we understand and be aware of the responsibilities of the person who will act as the driver. We have already talked about it. It means the person who controls the car according to his wishes and must strictly comply with the regulations of the law. Therefore, the driver, because he will have knowledge of driving, must also have the skills to control the car as well. That is, knowing alone is not enough. It must also have the ability to control the vehicle. That is, driving in the direction that we want to go or the user wants to go. Therefore, the driver is a person who must be aware of his mission, and also emphasize safety in controlling the vehicle. What responsibilities does the driver have to take care of? Drivers must have responsibility. The first thing is responsibility for themselves, because the driver is considered a person with a soul. Therefore, what do you need to take care of yourself to have the potential and ability to do that duty? The second is the mission of being responsible for your family. The driver must also have a family, whether it is parents, siblings, husbands and wives, children, because nowadays drivers are both men and women. Women can also act as drivers. Whether it's second, third, fourth, there are people who are responsible for driving the car as well. The third one is the responsibility of the company or the car owner. Because each car owner must invest effort. The company must invest in the use of assets and money to purchase and procure them for use in providing services according to the objectives. And number 4 is responsibility to service users and society, responsibility to those service users. Drivers must be extremely aware, so there will be understanding and awareness of these things. Let's understand that we have responsibility for ourselves. How are you? Take responsibility for yourself. The first thing is that the driver should be a person with morals. This is because the driver may currently be called a public figure in performing his duty as a driver. If it is a person who does not take responsibility for himself by having morals, then it is difficult to develop. It is difficult to realize that no matter what religion you have, there must be rules and regulations. Has a role to play in the principles of that religion. We call it having morality, whether it be the 5 precepts, 8 precepts, 10 precepts. If it is Buddhism, let's have the principles of precepts in mind, which is like living life in harmony with the Dhamma. Why must we emphasize that people who are responsible for themselves emphasize morality? Suppose, for example, the 5 precepts of Buddhism. The 5 precepts of Buddhism. Point 1. Focus on the human mind. Must not be cruel. Be a kind-hearted person. If anyone has this precept, they will be merciful and not cruel. If a cruel person drives a car, it will be very scary. Therefore, when performing driving duties, a person must have responsibility for that duty. Number 1 emphasizes that the person must have a public mind. Having a mind that is not cruel and kind is called having the 4 Brahmavihara principles in me. The 4 are kindness, compassion, kindness, and equanimity. If anyone has the first precept, it is that they are not cruel. Imagine if any person had a cruel heart. I'm an angry person. Driving down the road is going to be terrible. Can't control myself. Angry about everything, cursing all the way, arises from anger. If you can't stop this emotion, responsibility for oneself spreads to many things. That person often encounters dead ends in life. It's very difficult to find a solution. Therefore, it is important for those of us holding the steering wheel to keep our emotions in check. Whatever you encounter, don't get angry. Some people drive by and see pigs and dogs crowing about chickens. They get angry all the time. They don't know what disease it is. If you see a car driving slowly, what is it driving? What oil do you use? Saw the driver quickly. Is he going somewhere in a hurry, going to a funeral or something? You can be suspicious about everything. Therefore, if anyone drives a car, then they have their own responsibility. Then having morality will look soft and harmonious. It is according to the actual condition of the road. If you can go, go. If you can't go, tell them. If you don't go, you will keep waiting. Not in a hurry, not too hasty. Go as usual. So if a person has the first precept, I am confident in these 5 precepts. There are 3 of them because we have to be very aware of first, then we skip second and move on to third. Drivers must take responsibility for themselves by practicing this precept, because cross-trust focuses on service users and their own health. This point is very important. And number 3, where we realize number 5, precepts number 3, number 1, number 3 and number 5, we will cross over is the matter of alcohol. Alcohol is now legal. If you drink alcohol, there is a chance of going to jail. If you drive the car, you will be sued in court for exceeding the prescribed alcohol limit. This is something the driver must be aware of. Must take responsibility for oneself. You must stop yourself. Don't go eating or drinking. Because now if something happens, the responsible government official must use an alcohol detector to find out how much alcohol is in that person.